Well, everybody, we're all looking for something that is substantial and that will last for a long time. We've got an expert here that's going to tell us all about that and why plaster is making a comeback. Stay tuned. We're back, everybody. The Your Little Castle Show. Carter Rethwish, a.k.a. the Cardinal Cowboy. Well, my titles catch up with me over here, but we get into some crafty, nifty professions out there. But as somebody who has an appreciation for plaster, from like I said, two angles. As a kid, I was fixing some of those holes. I understood how you put the plaster. You had to put something down there behind it to hold it. But at my parents' house down in Fayette, Missouri, I should show you some pictures of this place. There's a video out there. Google, YouTube search. The elms, because they have big elm trees on the house. It's 12-foot ceilings, 10-foot doors, solid wood doors. It's an unbelievable place. But I really got to see something good. They had internal plaster walls. Like this thing was a brick house, if you will. They
right.
said brick SH. You can't say I won't. But a brick house, like on the inside. The houses these days, like you can punch through it and you have your hand in the other room.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't hit the stud. But this house, like it is literally just brick all up and down and plaster all around it on the inside because that's what they built it with. This was built back in the 1880s or so.
They didn't have trash cans.
They didn't have okay.
All the trash is in the wall.
The trash is in the wall. I didn't realize. So this is what they substantiate these buildings with. It's classic, beautiful stuff. So Dave is an expert. He's the owner of C&C Plastering, where he says no job too small, no job too big. And you are busy right now. You're looking to hire some people too.
Yeah, we're busy. Yes, we are definitely busy. But yeah, I mean, if you want a job, come on, give me a call. I'll talk to you, sit down, and hopefully talk you into plastering.
Well, I didn't realize it was making such a comeback, but I realized that when people want to have something that lasts quite a bit longer, because like I said, I built many rooms, many walls myself, finishing off little basement rooms, etc. And it seems like if you don't get them exactly right, or if you get any kind of water damage, there's all kinds of problems. You're going to have to tear that whole thing out and start over again. Plaster is just much more substantial, will last quite a bit longer than anything else.
Yeah, well, plaster can actually withstand some water. I mean, not a lot of water, but it can because, I mean, we mix it with water. So
right.
It helps it. I mean, when it dries out, it can absorb a lot of water. Drywall cannot. I mean, once water hits drywall, it starts to mold. And plaster, will not do that. You have to have a lot of water and a lot of time, for plaster to be molded.
Yeah, mold is one of the biggest problems in any kind of house. If you get the slightest bit of water in a house that I know of, they had a little water at the very bottom, but it crept up inside the walls, and then all of a sudden these black dots showing up all over.
Yep.
And
that's your mold.
That's your mold. You don't want that. Well, tell me though, as an expert, there's a lot of people now getting into the remodeling, and people are going into, hey, let's flip houses and et cetera. But what's the biggest mistake that a home consumer makes, or even somebody who's trying to flip a house? What's the biggest mistake they typically make?
So people that flip houses, a lot of times are trying to get as much money for the house they just bought, and they'll put drywall over the top of plaster.
Not a good move.
It's a good move. It looks great, and then 2 years later, something happens, or like this year, it's been really dry, so everything's cracking. That plaster separates. Well, now not only does it collapse, it pulls that drywall down too. So now you have more of a mess.
Wow.
But I mean, the problem is people don't know it until it's too late. You walk in, you look at the house, it looks great. The best thing to do if you're buying a house that the flipper's done, look in the corners and just see if you see any tape or any little cracks, because if it's drywall crack, you'll know that they overlaid it, and then it's a problem.
Yeah, there's potential they're hiding some big problems behind that too. They're just potentially putting up a wall in front of something else. If they didn't get that, what's behind the scenes in order.
They didn't fix it because the cost to fix it is so much more, than just slapping a piece of drywall. We'll go into a room and it'll be, $3,000 for a room, and then a drywall will come in and say, we can do it for $400 because they're just slapping it up and going. And well, the problem is that plaster's still rotting, that's still separated, and now you're going to just create a bigger problem. And a lot of times they do it to just, pass it on to the next guy. We're selling it. Once we sell it, it's not our problem. And there's a lot. And I'm trying myself. I'm trying to change people. I'm trying to change house flippers to say, spend the money, because guess who they call? They call you after you sold them the house. They want to know why this cracked, why the ceiling fell, and it's just more of a hassle. Not your responsibility to fix it, but they're still going to call you and complain. And then they have to call me, and then I have to go and, fix twice the mess.
Undo quite a bit more work.
And it's, I tell people all the time, it's more expensive, but it's permanent. So you always have to, when you're looking at plastering, look long term. I'm buying this house. This is my forever. And I tell a lot of customers when I walk in there, I said, is this your forever home? And if they say yes, then I'm like, you have to do this whole ceiling. Don't just patch the crack. Let's do the whole ceiling so it looks now. And in 30 years, it's still going to look like this. And that's, I pride myself on telling people, this is what's going to happen. And, I tell people all the time when we come in, this is the process that's going to happen. We're going to make a mess, but we're going to clean it up. We're going to leave your house cleaner than we got in, which is sometimes hard to do, but we do it.
So how's that pertain? You've got homeowners though, because the flippers, they're coming in. There's a financial transaction. That's what they're focused on.
That's all they're thinking.
But the homeowner, like you said, if it's your forever home, for those people who actually own a house, if they've got existing plaster, the last thing they want to do is just cover that up. They want to get it reinstalled or
they want to be repaired. We want to repair it. We do a lot of houses that when people are, they just move in and everything's vacant and they see all the cracks. And I tell people, take a pencil and go around and start marking cracks. And everybody doesn't like me when I leave because I'm like, oh, there's a crack. And they didn't see any of these cracks. But I've been doing it so long, I know right where they're at, under the windows, over the doors.
Right.
They don't fix themselves, so they have to be fixed. And, it's just a process that if it's your forever home, I definitely, and the product's just better. If you look at cornice work, there's no seams. But wood, no matter how good the woodworkers are, and I know a lot of good woodworkers, you can still see the seams. Plaster, there's no seams. It's a solid piece. Once we're done mitering it and doing everything we have to do, it's just a permanent, and it's just a sharper and cleaner look.
Does it add value to a house? Obviously, if somebody's selling a house, they can sell a house for a higher value.
Yeah, you're paying more in taxes.
You're going to get more value out of a plaster.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know the exact amount. I would say it's probably at least 30% higher. Just because the product. You're paying more insurance, which is funny because like I said, plaster don't burn.
Right.
That's why all these houses. That's why all the houses are still standing where the tornado went through.
Yeah.
The roofs are gone. But that was made out of wood.
Yeah.
and shingles and
lifted that off.
And they're gone. But the houses, the brick's still up and the plaster. And in the old days, like I said, they put all the trash in between. So all the excess mortar, all the excess plaster goes right in between the walls. So that's why when you open your walls up, you're like, well, this is a lot more, And the plasters even used to put their beer cans and their newspapers to put all their trash in there. And that's what they did. They didn't put food, but they would always put paper goods.
And that was on purpose as a matter of filling the inside.
It's filling it, and a lot of times it helps to hold the plaster. But that's what they did. They didn't have trash cans back in the old days, so they put their trash in the walls. And we go into houses all the time and see newspaper clippings from 1910 or 1920, and really cool. And then people, we found money in houses before, that was kind of a little freaky when we did that. Put up a wall and found $75,000, and only 35,000 of it was usable because it was too old. So I was in there. I had to call the lady and have her come home from work. She's like, "Is there a problem?" I go, "No, it's a good problem. You have money in your walls." But yeah, it was pretty neat.
Wow. Tell me that you get into it as a profession. You could do this residentially or you could do it commercial. You say you focus on residential. You do a little commercial, and tell me why you favor one. What's your
There's
preference?
more. I think the problem is with the commercial, just like with the backdrop, is they do styrofoam. So it's 2x4 pieces of foam. I don't consider it plastering. It is plastering. It's saved the plastering industry, the commercial buildings. But I just like the old homes because when you're done with them, they look perfect. They just look back to original. So you can sit there and go, this is what this house looked like, in 1940 or whatever. And it's just a great feeling. I do some commercial, but I don't like to compete with the union guys, and step on their toes. They got more guys, and they can not. Commercial guys want you in and out. They want you done. Residential, they're like, we want it done right, so it takes a little longer. So
is it a little more fulfilling doing the residential? You're dealing with old classic homes and people that are like, this is where they live. So there's a little more that goes into that.
yeah, I mean, I like it. I tell everybody, I said, we do the same thing when we walk in a house. We start on the left, we go to the right, and we go from the back to the front, but it's a different house. So I mean, some houses are really unique and they're really fun to work on. We just did a house down in by St. Francis Park. Great old house, and everything was all rounded, and something we haven't done in a while. We had to get pool trowels out and stuff that we had to make different tools to work, and the house turned out great. The homeowners are just like, took longer than we thought, but it's fantastic. They just love it. That's what I like, is when I see people come in and say, God, I didn't think it was going to be that good. That, or I do my friends' houses, and they see me at the bowling alley, and they're like, you know how to do this? This is really cool. I didn't think you knew how to do this. And you did do it to your friends' houses and people's houses. It's really cool to see how happy people get when you do the job right.
Yeah, I mean, you're restoring some of the most classic buildings in our area. St. Louis has been, some of the houses here are upwards of 200 years old. And when you get to restore something that looks like it did when it was originally created, that's got to feel good.
Oh yeah, it's a great feeling to do a house. I mean, we've done a couple of, we did Clark School that was damaged, but it was right next to Sumner, and they remodeled that. And we redid the whole thing, inside of that. It was great. It was kind of, when we were finished with the plaster, they didn't have all the walls up, so it was kind of be like an old classroom. So I'm like, this is what the school looked like back in the day.
Wow.
So it was kind of neat, and now that's all gone with the tornado, so we're going to have to probably redo it eventually, but it's crazy how, there's just so many historical buildings in this town that are they're so neat. I mean, what is it, City Hall downtown.
Right.
Everybody thinks that's wood. That's plaster. When you look up, when you go in there and you look straight up the ceiling, it looks like wood. It's plaster, and that's what's really cool.
Wow.
And but they painted it, made it looks just like wood. But it's a neat thing to see stuff like that, and hope it. And now the younger generation, it's like they want it back. They're like, I promised my grandpa, I promised my mom and dad, and where they're getting their money to do it, I don't know, but
right.
But they're doing it, and it's really cool.
Tell me then, as somebody who's done this for so long, I'm sure there's got to be a couple situations where somebody was in a tough spot and they were maybe somebody who wasn't as much expertise as you bring to the table, saying, we don't know what to do with this repair or this issue, but you stepped up and showed them and took care of somebody that you kind of went out of your way to help. Can you give me an example?
There's a couple of people up North County that one had no insurance, had no nothing, and we tried it. We came in there, and they're like, everybody came by and they said, we can do this. We have to do it this way. It's going to cost you, $100,000 to do.
Wow.
And he didn't have the money. I mean, he didn't have insurance. He didn't have the money, and we're like, well, we can come up there and help you, and we can patch it and make it look good, just so you can live there. And that's what we did. And I mean, and the guy cooked us, barbecued for us, and a super nice guy. But we did it, and I mean, he gave made payments to me, and I don't like to do that, but I mean, every once in a while you just see people that you're like, sure, you got to help them. And then the guy was like, this is awesome. He goes, I can't believe you made my house look this good. And we're like, well, and that makes you feel good when you do something nice, for somebody that's struggling. And and we have a lot of people. I mean, we do a lot of single moms' houses, and they just they can't believe that. They're like, my kids kick holes. I said, they're not going to kick holes in this. They're just not going to do it, And we do help out. We try to help out as many people as we can,
Well, that's what we like to see, the leaders in the community are going out of the way. 'Cause we all know that we all know people who've been in a tough situation where they've got to get some help from somewhere, else they're not going to make it. But tell me that, with that in mind, a lot of times the challenges we face in our business life or even personal life, but more focused on business. What are some of the biggest challenges you've overcome that help make you stronger? Some of the things you learned? Is it managing people? Is it going in and showing people the difference between drywall versus Plaster, what are some of the challenges you run into?
I don't know about managing people. I mean, I'm not politically correct most of the time, and I yell a little bit, but a little rough around the edges. But I do try to pride myself on when I go into somebody's house, I try to explain what the process is going to be, what the difference is, and I mean the difference is, plaster is 10 times stronger than drywall. I mean, right there, that's and it's permanent. It's drywall's a 10-year fix. Plaster's a 100-year fix. I mean, we're working on 100-year homes and they look the same as they did. So, I mean, I just pride myself on explaining it to the customer is, hey, we walk in, we're going to cover everything. We're going to make a huge mess. Right. You're going to have a little panic attacks. We've had people vacuum behind us while we're working. We're trying to tell them it's going to get worse before it gets better. But we clean it up, and then at the end, I make sure every one of my customers is happy. I say, and it's just, I think I've learned from running work for a couple companies, I learned how to deal with, adversity, and now I just know that it happens pretty much every day in the plastering, every single day in the plastering industry, and and it gets, I mean, it all works out in the end. That's why I always, I always say it always works out in the end. It might, sometimes we go the worst way possible to get there, but it always works out.
Very cool. We're going to share with you a little bit more of the fun and excitement we have in the community. Last show we had Dave. We talked with Babe Ruth's grandson. Here we've got a gentleman that's helping some of those who are going through PTSD and how they're helping combat those who are dealing with potential for suicide. Another great organization. Will be inspired. Check out what they were talking about here, everybody. This is a fun little chat we had.
Okay.
Hey everybody, it's John Fogarty.
Thank
you. You're a heck of a musician on the side, right?
Yeah, I'm going to sing a little bit later today, but not until after the golf.
Right. Summit, great organization. We love you guys. Great interview we had.
Yeah, we had a great time on the podcast.
That was fun, man. That aired on ABC about 6 months ago.
Yeah, probably 6 months ago. It was right fall, I think. So yeah, maybe a little more.
Well, you guys do good work. Tell me why you love this event here. You're supporting Will.
Yeah, so Will Be Inspired golf tournament, veterans, first responders, 100% everything goes right back into it. So always support the best and try to take care of ours to take care of us. Thank you, guys.
That's awesome. There we go. All right, everybody. We'll be back for more. Giddy up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up.
everybody,
Did you see the
Cardinal Cowboy
that,
here.
baseball
I want to
game last
invite
night,
all
that
of you
went
to be
18?
part of my new
I fell
team.
asleep.
No, you don't have to
Yeah,
put on a
I
baseball
watched it. I
uniform
saw it
and be a
this
super
morning.
fan.
I was like, that's
Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals.
I'm
the
glad.
greatest
I mean,
team
I
in the
haven't
history of the
watched
National
baseball
League.
just because
But I'm
of
talking about
television.
the Gold Cowboy
been
team.
actually pretty
You know, I love to
good.
help
the
people
last two
follow
games
their
have been
dreams
pretty
and
good.
reach
I
their
told
goals
her earlier.
in
I'm
business
like,
and in
well, I
life.
should probably
So that's
watch
one of the
this
reasons
because I
why I'm telling you
I
about
love
my
football,
friends
but I
at
don't
My
think-
Metal Pro.
baseball's just
They
getting
help people like you
slow.
and I acquire
You know,
gold
and,
and silver
I'm like, and they're
with a
just
membership
buying- they're buying
that lets you
rings every
safely
year.
buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up.
Well, there we go. Lots of fun. Like I said, we get to enjoy in the community. Lots of good organizations that are helping a lot of people. And these days, you get the word out, and people will show up to these events. A lot of times, that word is spread through this new thing called social media. We show people how to magnetize their media. So if you are interested in learning more about how to magnetize your media, first get something that stands out. Put a cowboy hat on. Do something to create a little bit of fun. But I wrote the foreword here for this book called Magnetize Media. It's the #1 seller on Amazon. And we talk to people about how to magnetize media, how to use social media and technology to keep up, because it is always changing and there's so much more. But we were talking a little during our break there, baseball, and a little discussion there. But tell me, Dave, how has the technology changed over the last, you've been doing this 30 years, and made things easier, better, and saved the industry, you say?
Yeah, I mean, the foam has saved the industry. The EFIS has definitely saved it because nobody wanted to do plaster for a long time, and then so everybody started putting foam on the outside of their houses, and that they kind of saved us plasters. And now we're getting back into everybody's saving their houses and going back to, original plaster. But when I started, I mean, we mixed it in a bucket by hand. I mean, we had a hoe, and you flipped it back and forth, and then you carried it and you put it on, and then now we have drills and we have mixers, and I mean, everything is, it's made it a lot easier. I tell the kids all the time they're doing it, I'm like, you guys have no idea how easy it is, And the bags used to be 80 pounds, now they're 50 pounds, because everybody's afraid, we can't lift over 80 pounds. Which,
Is that right?
My lunchbox weighs that, but yeah, we did that a long time. I mean, and yeah, I mean, nowadays it's great. And then now, like I said that earlier, about they're going to start making cornice and ornamentals in AI. So they're going to do it all, type it in a computer, you see it, and then they'll make 20 pieces, and then we'll just have to
3D
butter
printer.
the back of them. Yeah, 3D printer, they're there, and then we just butter the back and stick them to the ceiling, instead of going and making it in a garage or in a warehouse and spending 3-4 days to make it a 10-foot piece, and then hoping that you can get it to the job site before it cracks. Wrap it in foam and blankets and everything else to get it there. Now they'll deliver it to you, and you just stick it up. And so that's something that I don't know if I'll be using it a lot, because I like to do. We get in them old houses, I'd rather do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, keep the original.
Yeah. So technology is, billing's easier. I'm still old school. I'm a Neanderthal. I still write my tickets out and everything, and then send them to my assistant, and then she emails everything. But yeah, it's so much easier. I mean, direct deposits. You're not chasing money all over the city. And so technology has made plastering, had made all of it. The nail gun. The nail gun stick. We use it putting up lath. It's great, instead of little stub nails and beating your thumbs and fingers and everything. And now you just press a button and just go. It's pretty easy.
Moves quicker. Well, tell me that. I can imagine by now a lot of people have seen what we've talked about here, and they're going, all right, I got to hire this guy. Dave, what's the process for somebody to hire you?
Give me a call. We'll set up a time, and I'll come out, and I'll give you a bid. We'll walk through the job. I'll try to explain exactly what we're going to do or what needs to be done at your house, and then I'll write you up a bid. I'll either email it to you or call you and tell you the price. You say, okay, I agree to it. We and then we set you up a date when we're going to start. And then we pride ourselves, if I tell you we're going to start April 3rd, we're starting April 3rd. Lately here, the problem is we're getting in houses, and we're supposed to do 2 rooms, and then we're doing 20, because they're like, oh, can you do the whole house? And we're like, well, we're already here. So then we have to back stuff up. But but I communicate with my customers, and it's pretty easy concept. We don't require a deposit until the day we start. So you're not going to give me my money and we're going to take off just for material. We get it the first day we start. So I'm going to leave thousands of dollars worth of equipment there to take your deposit. I'm not going to do that. So we it's a pretty easy process. Call me up. We'll come out, free estimates, and I'll go anywhere where the money is.
That's
If the
right.
money's green, we'll do it.
As a matter of jobs range from half-hour jobs to 6-week jobs and everything in between.
I'd say the average job usually lasts about 4 hours. I mean, a patch just for setup and mixing time, and we have to glue everything. We glue everything that we do on patches, and that takes a little time to dry. And so usually between 4 hours and 6 months. I mean, we've been on jobs, and we did a historical house over in Alton, and we were there 6.5 months.
Wow.
Yeah, which was really cool. I mean, but it took a long time. I mean, I didn't have to cut my hair. My hair just fell out. It's a lot of stress, but it worked out.
Well, that's a lot to do there, and I'm glad you have a system in place to get everybody started. Tell me, what's the biggest question people have when they get started? Are they always trying to compare drywall versus plaster? Are they always worried about price? What is the biggest question that people have when they're ready to consider your service?
They always ask me about drywall. Should I just drywall? And my response is always, is this your house that you're staying in? Is this your forever home? If it is, do plaster. It was a plaster house. Your insurance is charging you for a plaster house, so that's what you want to use.
Stick with what this was originally and keep the quality and the integrity, and then you're also getting the value from having a product that's going to last for a long time.
It lasts like I said, we try to make it last forever. I tell people, I'm not coming back to your house. A barbecue, that's it. Invite us over, for drinks or something. We'll come over and do that, but we're not, we do it permanent. It's a permanent fix.
This is something that will last for a long time, everybody. Tell me, what is it that gives you the most satisfaction when you finish a job here? What do you enjoy most? Seeing that expression on the client's face?
Actually, the best for me is when a client cries. They're so happy they cry. I've had a couple of them do it, and it's a great feeling. You feel really bad that they're crying, but it's a great feeling that they're so happy their house is back. And, that's the best feeling for me.
Well, as we finish up here, I'll put on the white shot. We got a couple great pictures here for before and after. I'll share with you. I'll put on the wall. But look on the left before, on the right is after, and you can really see some of the work that gets done there and what's going on there. That's a dramatic difference there between the two. I'll scroll through here one more, another one before and after. How beautiful this stuff looks as a matter of professional finish that makes these things look right. Oh wow! And you've got some. That just makes it look like new again. This is
It's a historical house in North County.
Got to be very rewarding for what you get to do here, eh, Dave?
Yeah, that's what I said. You look at, and that's why I show people. I go, this is what you have now, and this is what it's going to look like. And my guys do. I mean, guys do. They make me look good. They really do.
Well, it's nice to have some experts in the building that can make this happen, and you've been doing this for a long time. Thanks for staying tuned with us here, everybody, in the Your Little Castle Show. Get more information from Dave. He will help you to make your plaster jobs look beautiful. Restore that place to look like it did originally. Giddy up.